Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how I did this balayage highlight, and I am using this ion bleach with 30 volume, and I am adding Olaplex to this formula because I want to protect her hair. So she has a little bit of highlighted ends, and this was a previous balayage that I had done months and months ago, so it had grown out a lot and we did a big haircut, so all she had on her ends was just a little tiny bit of blonde. So all this dark color that you see in like her root area and down to the mid shaft, that's all her natural hair color. So I love working with virgin hair because it's the easiest and it just looks amazing, especially when you are lightening. So I am just gonna part her down the sides and the back. So the back I left it as one big section, and then I parted her front into two right off of her natural part. So wherever she likes to part her hair, that's where I'm gonna leave it because that's what's gonna look the best when she's styling her own hair. So as I always like to do with my balayage and all my highlights, I am starting in the back. And for the very first piece, I'm doing an angled section, like you can see here, right from like the top of her ear to the back of her head in like a V shape. So here I am doing the other side. And for these bottom sections, I am not weaving any hair out. I'm gonna leave it all in. And these bottom sections hardly had any lightened ends, so I went over the whole thing because there was literally like maybe half an inch of like pre-lightened hair at the bottom. So then for this third section, I am going right in the middle and taking just like a slice from the middle, and I am gonna keep the lightener a little bit lower in this section. And the major thing with highlighting, especially kind of like foliage like I'm doing here, is to make sure that the hair is completely saturated, because this is going to help it lift evenly and look really nice. And you just want to make sure that every single piece of hair that you want lightened is like has lightener on it. So I'm just going over doing the same exact kind of formation on the second layer of highlights here. So you can see I took an angled section, and these are pretty thick sections because she wanted to be more blonde. So you can see she has a lot of dark hair here. So I wanted to bring that lightness all the way up almost to her root, but not quite, because she did want to have more of a natural grow out. So once I have those two layers of like full highlights in, I am going to start weaving out all of my highlights now. So for this section, this middle section, I did weave out, so there's hair underneath it I did not lighten. So this is going to give her some more dimension, and it's going to look really nice as at the end. So then I'm going to take another horizontal section, and again I'm just going to do a really tight weave, so you could see there's not a lot of hair like missing. So I'm still getting a lot of hair in the foils, but we are going to leave a little bit more of like dimensional going through it now that we have started to leave some hair out. So I'm going to continue this these highlighting sections exactly like this. So now I'm going to go in with my angled sections on the side, and I'm going to keep doing this until I am done with the back of the head. So now that I'm finished with the back of the head, I'm gonna start around her hairline. So I'm doing maybe like a little more than 1/2 inch of a section, and then I am weaving it out. And then around her face, I'm bringing those highlights way up higher than the back to give her more brightness and lightness around her face, which is gonna look more flattering. So you can see these are more like smaller highlights, smaller sections, and way thinner sections. So now that I have those 2 pieces around her ear done, I'm gonna go in up around like her bang area. She doesn't have bangs because her hair is really long in the front here, but I'm just gonna give her kind of like a money piece section up here. So I'm doing a little bit of a thicker a weave so that I could get more hair in here and brighten her like right around her face a lot. Then I'm going to go back to my regular angled sections, and then these I am going to make a little bit thicker and make sure to just saturate and blend that line at the top. So I am not like squishing my foils when I fold them up. So this is one thing that I have noticed. Before I was kind of sandwiching them real tight, and what was happening was I was getting like a line of demarcation because there was no lightener where I was squishing it and kind of like sealing it. So now what I like to do is just fold it up, but I don't smooth out like that fold section. And what that's gonna do is it's not gonna give you that line of demarcation. So then I just lock it into place with a little corner fold. And you see how I do that here in this next section. So I'm just making sure that that whole piece is completely saturated. And then I'm going to go up and blend so that she has a nice graduation from like her dark color until the ends. And then when I go in to fold them, I'm not going to smush my foils down. So on the other side of her head, I'm just going to do the same exact thing. So this is the side that she has less hair. So I didn't really need to do like a money piece up higher, like towards the middle of her forehead, because she has more hair on the other side of her part. So here I just did the 2 really small baby light sections right on her hairline, and then I went back into my angled sections up the rest of the hair because again, she didn't need any foils like closer to like the middle of her forehead. So as you can see, I am really going in and making sure those sections are saturated, and I am okay with overlapping on her previously lightened hair because it was a little orange and I wanted to kind of brighten those up as well. And I have Olaplex in my formula, so and her hair was perfectly fine after I finished. So sometimes I like to heat up the foils a little bit, especially on the top, which are the last ones to, get the lightener on them so they could kind of catch up to the back. And I only left her under the dryer for about like less than 10 minutes just to warm those up, and they came out really, really nice. So I'm going to take her back to the shampoo bowl, and I'm going to have my little sister help me here get all her foils out, and then I'm going to go in and rinse out all of that bleach that's in her hair and just make sure it's completely out. So once I have all that lightener removed out of the hair, I'm going to squeeze out all the excess water, and then I'm going to go in with Olaplex number 2. I'm going to let that soak in between 5 and 10 minutes, and I am going to mix up her toner for today. So I'm going to be using 05NA, and this is all shades EQ. So 5NA is going to go on her roots. So I'm going to make sure to blend between like her darker roots and like where the highlight starts. And then for the rest of her hair, so for her from her mid shafts down, I'm doing a combination of 9V, 9P, 9NA, and a little tiny drop of 1B. And that's going to kind of make her gray. So we were going for gray hair. So this was the first session of trying to go gray. So this next clip here is with the toner. So you can see it looks super, super dark, but it ended up looking beautiful. And I let that sit for about, like I think 10 minutes max. And I just let that process. And then once she was done processing, I washed and conditioned her hair and gave her a nice little scalp massage. And then I just gave her a really quick blowout. And as you can see, there is a little bit of patchiness, but we knew that was going to happen because this was her first session from going from basically like a level 3, 4 to a blonde. So I blew out her hair, and this was the end result. And then I did end up a week later, we went in for a second session, and I was able to get her a little bit more blonde. So I will put both of those pictures up here next. So I'll put the picture out right after this session, and then I will also post the picture of what it looked like after her second session when we were going like full gray. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you did like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be posting videos weekly, and I will see you here next time. Bye.